Lucky I had to
Previously
scroll
on
up. The fuck is this?
Okay, so Dreamworld is a pretty long story so far, so I'm going to do an update today, but if you've not been following along, here are some cliff notes so you can be caught up
What
a
is
little
Dreamworld?
bit. Dreamworld shows up on Kickstarter along with a bunch of paid ads on websites like Facebook directing people to the project. Websites started picking up on it, talking about it, sharing very little critical opinion at all. I then picked up on the story and had a look at the Kickstarter, essentially just warning people not to fund it as it looked like an outright scam. Beyond that, a group of people have made it their mission to dig into every detail about the project and the people behind it, and it's an absolute nefarious shambles. The developers...
Wait, is Dreamworld the game with the tiny people? Not the one we played, but there was like a game that got cancelled. Wait, really? This game? I thought it looked cool. It was like 3 years ago or something. 4 years ago maybe, 3 years. It's a Kickstarter MMO? Oh, then we're not talking about the same game.
We can call them that, claim to be backed by Y Combinator, which is a successful and prestigious startup funding platform, and many sources have claimed that this is via nepotism only, having family in high places help them skip the vetting process, and thus hoodwink venture capitalist firms out of money. They managed to get $64,000 from the public and promised technological advancements well beyond the scope of even 1,000-man industry leaders, but with only 2.5 employees. One of those half employees left very shortly after the Kickstarter was funded, and videos started coming out criticizing the project. And of the 2 remaining employees, one of which is a serial failure in marketing, and the other is a self-proclaimed superstar ex-Google engineer. They also used a sob story for sympathy that was entirely misrepresented about Zach's fiance leaving him due to him losing his job during COVID.
My fiance left me. My best friend, Gary, left me. My parents left me. We got so excited that I made a Discord channel and it left me.
Which of course neglects to mention that he bought her a fake engagement ring to propose to her at a red carpet event and then lied to and gaslit her for the better part of a year about it. Further proving the fact that these 2 cunts are like the Chuckle Brothers minus the intended comedy. So that's the cliff notes of the project so far, but check the links in the video description if you need a full background, because trust me, this is one you want to be up to date on. It's like a fucking roller coaster. So here we are again, my friends. It's been a few weeks since my last foray into the absolute state that is Dreamworld. Since then, not a whole lot has happened, unless you count the game launching into their alpha access and being universally panned by even the most stalwart of dreamers. So I'm not going to get too deep into the actual game because honestly it's pathetic. It's worse than anyone could have possibly imagined. I thought it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. So I'll direct you to Callum Upton's video for some particulars on the actual game. Essentially the cliff notes are as follows. The game runs like absolute shit. There's 0 collision on any of the imported 3D models for the city, so essentially they're just images that you can walk through. People who bought the game were told they would be given a plot of land in the game to build on so other people couldn't fuck with them, and you don't actually get a plot of land assigned to you at the start, so they can and you can't really play properly. Other players in the game are a floating sphere instead of an actual avatar. They tried to fix the absolutely terrible performance by adding in a kind of fog system, but they didn't make things outside the fog stop rendering, so all they did was add fog, which was a further decrease in the performance of the game, which is hilarious. And then the biggest and best smash hit of incompetence here is, of course, the networking solution that they claimed was revolutionary and would house millions of users on a single server, a feat of engineering that would stun the world, is of course completely fake and doesn't exist. In fact, their networking is so basic and awful that there are 0 server-side authentications, which means essentially a 13-year-old fresh out of his first IT class could essentially absolutely ruin this game for everybody involved by just telling the server whatever he wants to happen, and the server would say, yeah, you're right, that did happen.
The biggest dead by daylight streamer observer would coach you. The community would be really happy if it happens.
You must be new here. No, I don't think so.
Hacking or a hacker, because it's actually so easy that I'm pretty sure Cheat Engine could ruin the whole game out of the box. And that's not all. The things that were shown in the Kickstarter trailer, of course, they were all fake. So that absolutely garbage trailer that almost all of us would call a terrible attempt at a game isn't even real. The reality is much, much worse. The censorship has gotten so bad at this point that their own community members literally say that they live in fear of repercussions if they even say anything, because they ban people without warning, mid-conversation, and they don't even acknowledge that they did it. At this stage, they even have an authentication process on the server, which means you have to get handed access, and the invite shows who invited you. So if you invite people who they don't like, they also ban you from the server for just inviting people. So the worst part about this is if you've backed the game, the only place to get updates on the game is on Discord, and if you even ask a question or say something that they disagree with, they just ban you outright. They don't speak to you. It doesn't have to be anything serious whatsoever. You get banned, and then you can't even follow along with the game that you paid money for. If you followed along, there was a certain individual who streams and make YouTube videos who had backed the game heavily and did the only ever interview with Zach and Gary, asking them softball questions and essentially being there as a prop to let them spew their nonsense to the world. He has since then played the game and of course concluded that he was out of his mind and everyone else was right, which is something that will eventually dawn on each and every one of the people that have backed this game and that think that this game's realistic. Now, talking about the moderation of the server, it's gotten so bad that
they only got $64,000
with most of them leaving.
Like,
and
it's
yes,
not like the biggest scam in the world. I've seen Kickstarters get
basically
way
Zachary went into a bunch of Discord servers to advertise his game to his target audience. The only people gullible enough to actually look at this game and see a potential success.
Well, how much did Star Citizen
investors,
get?
Of course.
You call that a scam? How much did that get?
Got him!
Millions. Yeah. My VC fund is considering a fairly substantial investment in Dreamworld, potentially somewhere between 100,000 and 250,000. The team just graduated from Y Combinator, which is one of the most prestigious startup accelerators in the US, so they're getting a lot of attention. VCs like me.
Got it!
Well, that mod team, which consisted of a 14-year-old boy, a 16-year-old girl, and a 20-something-year-old, basically have all up and quit or gone on extended breaks. There's a bunch of screenshots floating around of mods and community members. You know, the handful of people who, for whatever reason, thought this game was the real deal, saying they're scared to even speak in the Discord anymore because they're just watching people be banned for literally...
Why are they scared to be banned? It's obviously the shittiest game anyone has ever seen. Why do they even care?
No reason. At this stage,
Like,
Gary and Zach just see names that they recognize from YouTube
they want to
comments.
talk with other people who got scammed. Like,
ban the people. I've got people on my own Discord in my own community who have joined the server just to keep an eye on what's going on, just to read things. And I don't know how, but they either know they're from my community or they've maybe seen them on a YouTube comment or something, and they've just been banned. They've never spoken in the Discord server. So real quick, the story about me getting banned from the server is kind of funny, and it also shows that the people running the game are actual reprehensible human beings. So when I was banned for just asking a question in the server, Wolf, which is Zachary, essentially went around for multiple days claiming he didn't know who banned me and why I was banned, but he would look into it. I've since then had ex-mods of the server confirm that they were in voice chat talking when Wolf banned me, and he confirmed that I was banned by Wolf. And then instead of owning up to it and saying, yeah, I banned him because, you know, he made videos that I disagree with and that are, you know, talking bad about our game, which is a perfectly valid thing to do, by the way. If he wanted to ban me for making videos about the game that he disagrees with, entirely within his rights. But instead of just saying that, he instead said, oh, I don't know who banned anyone, I'll have to look into it. Which, of course, then just put a bunch of flack on these children that they'd put in places like their barrier between them and the community. Because people thought that these children, because they're children, were just banning people for no reason. When in actual fact, it was Wolf and Gary. So not only did they recruit these kids under the guise of giving them a job eventually, which is obviously never going to happen, but they then also put the kids in the front line and let them get shit on for no reason when it's things that they themselves did. Okay, so on that note, let's take a little look through the keyhole of Zachary's career. Since I had some time recently to do a little bit of digging, I got inspired. This is the guy who calls himself a serial entrepreneur, which, to me, reads as a serial failure. If you call yourself a serial anything without actually ever having success in doing it, then you're basically just saying I'm really good at thinking of ideas and then failing to execute them. And while I do think failure is a required ingredient in the path to success, I don't think I'm delusional enough to brag about being a serial failure on my LinkedIn. Zachary, however, is. His first job was a freelance web developer for JB Matheson, a investment firm where he apparently built their website in 2015 for 3 months. Funnily enough, you'll notice that JB Matheson has a familiar name attached to it as a partner, John Belloc. Definitely will Google review. The website has rebuilt the whole social media suite across 1 year and 5 months. You can see his happy little face here at the company on their Facebook page, which is of course part of the social media suite that he put together for them, and it has 0 interaction, very little followers, and no other online presence as far as I can find aside from a website. So he did a pretty good job here for 1 year and 5 months growing the social media of the business. Amazing job again, Zachary. This is where he really comes into his own though. This is where he really earns his stripes and becomes the entrepreneur that he always knew he could be. Introducing Courageous.
So I was actually running at NYU, my freshman year of college.
What?
And I was running with my earbuds in, and I got hit by taxi cabs twice. And I knew I needed my music a different way.
So in case you missed what this man just said, his solution to being so unbearably stupid that he was running into oncoming traffic, not once, but twice while running with earbuds in, wasn't to just start paying more attention to the road, but to subject everyone around him to whatever shitty music he was listening to at all times by designing a speaker that mounts to his chest. But that's not even the best part.
Hey there, my name is Zachary Kaplan. I'm the CEO of Courageous Incorporated. So I think I stuck 2 old speakers in a backpack and started running around with it. And I quickly realized that whenever I'd stop at any intersection, like 5 people behind me would all sort of like stop with me and like look around like they didn't know me. And I realized that they were running with me because they really liked the music, and they weren't wearing earbuds probably because they also realized that it was a safety hazard.
So obviously, as soon as everybody noticed him noticing them, they all stopped and clapped, and somebody handed him $100 bill. But of course, this idea is so revolutionary, and it would take the world by storm. So what of the success?
Not a fucking
8 years and 4 months later, 113 Twitter followers, and the peak of his product's popularity was sending a unsolicited gift package full of toys, including a letter and a Courageous, to a popular YouTuber called Pro Syndicate. Since then, of course, it's all been downhill. No engagement, no followers, no sales of the products, just pure disappointment. He did, of course, run a Kickstarter for this product at one point. He is very good at running Kickstarters, apparently, which got funded. And then, of course, mysteriously got cancelled. Almost as if his friends and family put money into it, and then when no one else funded, he cancelled the project so that they didn't incur any fees. 8 years so far, and this product hasn't shipped, and the website still lists them as being unavailable. Funnily enough, this isn't even the worst business that this fucking Melvin's tried to start. Let's take a look at the absolute straight fire clothing brand that he started. March 2018, introducing Baron Brand, another business to add to the pile. As you can see, some absolutely fantastic designs here. I mean, if I was 13 again,
it went from the fucking game to this guy just obsessing
be super into
this fucking
Perhaps
guy.
If they sold it in like a button-up shirt instead of a tee, I could then wear it and ask my friends to exclusively call me by my new name.
I don't need to hear this fucking shit. Like, he's so mad though. Like, yeah, obviously they're not gonna have some fucking revolutionizing MMO with 2 people. Like, don't put your money into that. It's fucking retarded. And now he feels offended because he thought it was gonna be a good game. Like, yes, you're also stupid. Congratulations.